Hi guys, experts here. I just wanted to run you guys through the latest DeepBot patch 0.6.0 that was just released. A large number of features have been added in this patch, and there has been a bit of confusion on what these features do and how to utilize them. So the purpose of this video is just to clarify some of those features. So let's get into it. First off, you would see there are performance improvements made to DeepBot. This essentially impacts streams with a large number of viewers. Essentially, when you cross 3,000 to 5,000 viewers, what would happen is DeepBot would become extremely slow because it is parsing every single line of chat in your stream. The latest version introduced a concept of smart grouping, where certain messages were grouped together and parsed as a bulk rather than each message individually. This allowed your CPU to be freed up for larger durations of time and therefore allows system resources to be focused on gameplay rather than DeepBot. Larger streams, do let me know if this has been helpful, and I'll continue to find ways to optimize this application. Moving on, the second feature of this update is the bank heist customization. A lot of you have in the past requested to be able to fully customize bank heist. This is essentially a response to all of those requests. If you go under streamer interactions under mini games, you would see a cog on the bank heist section. This essentially will bring up a customization window that allows you to customize every single aspect of this game. I will go into the details of these customizations in a later video. Moving on, autofill options have been added to the betting panels and the pool panels. Again, from a betting perspective, a lot of you have been mentioning that typing the options for all of your bets has been an extremely painful exercise, especially when you switch games. Therefore, an autofill option has been added where you can save templates and then load them on the fly. For example, I have just created a template with 7 options. All I have to do to use this option is hit the autofill. A window pops up, which is the autofill manager for betting. Save current, and I hit OK. And there you have it. Those are the options that are populated. Now I close this. I reset betting. All options are gone. I go to autofill. The window pops up. I select this and I hit load selected, and voila, all options are there. Another thing you would note is on the betting screen, historically there were only 10 options. This has now been increased to 14 so that you've got flexibility to organize your betting questions. Another point that was raised is a number of times streamers forgot to close the bets. Therefore, a betting close timer has been added to the screen as well, where you can specify how long the betting should remain open for bets. This way you can start a bet and then focus on gameplay, and the bets will automatically close when the timer elapses. The same autofill manager is also available in the stream polls section. Moving on, added support for multiple random responses in channel commands. Essentially, under channel commands, you can now have a command which would trigger different responses when the same command is triggered multiple times. So for example, I'm creating a command called testing. As you can see, I have actually entered 3 lines of text. Each command is separated by a new line character. I hit save, and now I go back into chat and I do testing. You get the first, second, third, first. So although it appeared in sequence, it would actually pick a random line and then display that. So this would give you a bit of freedom to create dynamic messages which respond differently when triggered multiple times. Again, this is an exclusive feature for VIP streams. We've already covered the timer on the betting screen, so let's move on. In the custom commands section, I've added 2 additional variables. The time at variable, which displays the current time in the streamer's time zone, and the counter at variable, which displays how many times a command has been executed. Going into channel commands, you can see I have a message which is exclamation test, which has the counter variable. So let's bring that up here. If I go exclamation test, yet another test message, counter 1, counter 2. counter 3. If you ever want to reset the test message counter, just right click and hit reset counter. Now if you go back to chat and type exclamation test, it resets to 1. Moving on, added support for selecting specific Twitch chat servers. In the config tab, you will now see a drop-down which allows you to select specific Twitch chat servers. This is especially useful when Twitch has server outages where one or more servers are down. This way, you don't have to rely on the random server that is allocated by this irc.twitch.tv domain. You can actually find out which servers are available and connect to those servers directly. Added a preview button for Drag Race for testing of notifications. So essentially, if you go under streamer interactions, minigames, when you add the Drag Race notification widget in OBS or XSplit through the CLR browser plugin, it would come up as a blank screen. Hitting the preview over here would essentially allow you to see the preview of the visual Drag Race widget within OBS or XSplit. This is useful for setting up the scene and testing before you start streaming. Added a feature where mods can use some commands in the bot chat. This is actually a fairly nifty feature. So for example, you are a mod in my stream and you want to perform some administrative actions for the stream, but you don't want to clog up the main chat. All you have to do is go to the bot chat, which in my case is going to be the twitch.tv/DeepBot. Let me open that up on a separate page. And here you could just type in a command. So for example, in this case, I would use the add command to add points to myself. So I check my points. I've got 730 points. I now issue the command in my bot chat, and now I check my points again. There you go. I have just added 10 points to myself using my bot chat and not clogging up the streamer chat screen. This feature can also be used by third-party developers to interact with the bot behind the scenes. Moving on, added an option to customize the sound played on name highlight. So a few versions back, I added a feature where you could actually specify a nickname which would get highlighted when someone types that. Now, on top of that, you can add a custom sound file, either a WAV file or an MP3 file, to also play a sound notification when this keyword is typed. Although it says word, you can also add phrases over here, which would trigger only if that exact phrase is typed by the users. The next option is to only greet users on first message instead of join. So if you look at the event messages screen, for join messages, there's a new checkbox on first chat. So essentially, this is an option for you to only greet users when they start speaking. That way, you do not scare away any of the lurkers who just want to sit back and view your channel and do not want to engage in a conversation directly with you at that point in time. Moving on, added text chat commands to cancel ticket and keyword raffles. Essentially, from a command line access perspective, mods could only start, close, and draw raffles previously. Now I have added commands to also cancel open raffles. Moving on, added access levels to be displayed in the pastebin channel commands output. So you would notice a couple of versions back in the config tab, I added an option where you could show the full command list on pastebin. If I tick this and in my chat I go exclamation command list, the bot would respond with a web link with all of your commands in it. If I load it up, you can now see that there are access levels mentioned in the command list. This allows your users to see which user classes can access these commands. These user class numbers correspond to the numbers within the DeepBot screen. Added option to disable followed since messages on raffle wins. Essentially, whenever you run a raffle, the bot would tell you how long the user has been following you in chat. For some people, they don't really want the chat to be spammed with multiple lines. So this option can also be now disabled from the general settings window. And last but not least, you would notice the sub notification has now been integrated into the standard notification panels as the donation and the follower notification. As all of these modules are now being integrated into the standard notification package, they are all VIP exclusive features. Therefore, to access any of these notifications, you would need to be a subscriber to the DeepBot program. And that's roughly it for all the features that have been added in this release. A couple of bug fixes have also been added, namely a fix where MP3 files were not playing correctly, a fix where code costs were not applied correctly when users requested codes, a fix where the raffle item name was not updated when new raffles were started immediately after the old ones, a fix where a bug prevented links from being launched on certain Windows 8 machines, and lastly, a fix where when the queues were full, and these are the viewer queues, the bot would show a message that the queue is full even when an existing viewer in the queue wanted to check his queue position and wait time. And that is about it from this update. I look forward to bringing more innovative features to enhance your streaming experience on Twitch in 2015. Wishing all of you a very happy new year and a great 2015 ahead. Experts signing off.